Yeah. Uh, so, yeah, Matt Blake, I think he can have a huge impact, and I'm just hoping. I feel like that it will help Garrett Cole also because he's into analytics like Matt Blake. So I feel like Cashman is doing a great job here. He's bringing all the analytics to the game now. So, but this is a question I've been asking all my friends and all the Yankees people I had on the podcast. Do you think Judge is worth $100 million?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if 100 million. Like Judge is already like 26, going on 27. He's been injury prone. I love Judge, but I kind of feel like we jumped the gun on the guy. He had a breakout rookie season. We built the Judges Chambers. We sold millions of 9-9 jerseys. We made him the face of baseball, the face of Yankee baseball, and people were so quick to call him the next captain and the next Jeter. And I don't know, with the future being so uncertain right now, and with Judge still rehabbing, he's got a broken rib still healing. I don't know if we pay him. I don't know what we pay him. I could see $100 million contract. I just don't know. Like, we're not going to give him. We're going to give him a long-term contract. I don't think we're going to give him like $100 million. Would be like what? Like for Judge, like 5 years, 6. I guess we give him like a 5-6 year, $100 million deal, and that would get him into his 30s. Yeah, I'll say that we will do it. I don't know if it's the smart move to do it, but the Yankees can afford it. And like I said, we jumped the gun on him, so we're going to ride this one out. The Yankees are going to pay him. The Yankees are going to keep him in pinstripes, and they're going to work with him and hope that he somehow regains that form he had his rookie year when he hit 50-plus bombs. Like, we see it in spurts. We saw it last year, when August came. He hit that home run in Oakland, and it was like he went on a tear for a little while, and we're like, okay, Judge is back. We need a full season of that. And I think the guy, when healthy, he can get back to it. I don't know. Judge is such a fan favorite and such a huge figure in baseball and in the Yankees. Like, I do spend a lot of time worrying about the future with him. Like, have we seen the best of Aaron Judge? Will we pay Aaron Judge? Will we let Aaron Judge walk? I feel like we're not going to let him walk. We're going to figure out a contract for him, and he's still got a chance to regain that ridiculous MVP, should have been MVP that year, form.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, he's gonna ask for a lot of money, and then the years will be a key. So if he asks for like 6-7 years, I would not do that because I feel like we have enough outfield depth in the minors and even in the majors. But I had the opportunity to interview Cannon Smith, the Yankees prospect, recently, and I'm sure you have something that I'm sure you dig into the Yankees prospect list. So, what is your perspective on the outfield prospects that we have, like Cannon Smith?
Yeah, I saw you were rapping with him, and I forgot about him. And then I saw the clip that you had with him, and I'm like, oh yeah, there. We've got guys like Estevan Florial still waiting in the wings. We've got guys like Clint Frazier who haven't gotten a full season to show us what they can do. Mike Tauchman, who just got his first sniff of the major leagues last year and showed us that he's a primetime player. Brett Gardner's on the way out. So, I mean, we've got guys. Giancarlo isn't going to be playing in the outfield every day. He's going to be in more of a DH role. And then, we learned about this guy, Rosel Herrera, this spring, who is a utility guy who can play infield and outfield. I mean, we've got guys. We've got some outfielders. And obviously, I can't leave this kid out. Jason Dominguez.
Yeah.
Who knows how fast that kid's going to skyrocket to the league. He's ridiculous. The Martian, every time we see him, we're like, wow, look at this kid. Now, he turned 17. Next thing you know, fast forward 2-3 years, like he could be Juan Soto. He could be playing for the Yankees at 19, 20, be a star by 21. So, like when you said if Judge is looking for a 6-7 year deal, I don't know. But if Judge is looking for 5 years, 20-something million, maybe we do that. But we do have depth, and we do have guys waiting in the wings that are major league outfielders. So we'll have to see. The future is very uncertain, but I feel confident in the depth that the Yankees have.
Yeah. So here's my next question for the Yankees before we switch gears to the Dallas Cowboys. But first, what are your thoughts, Gio Shirla? Do you think, obviously we know what he can do defensively, and he had a magical offensive year. I'm not going to say he can repeat it, but do you think he can have a capable offensive year again for us?
I do. I have faith in Gio. I think Gio found power in pinstripes, and not just bat power, not just like hitting power. I mean, like, he found himself. He finally figured it out in MLB, and he figured it out in New York City on the biggest stage. So to me, I don't think that was a fluke. You know, I thought it was a fluke a little bit last year when he's walking off. He's walking us off. He's hitting bombs. I'm like, where did we find this guy? I didn't even know about him. That's a Cashman steal. I think the Yankees have faith in him. He's going to be our starting third baseman. And if he fails or he slips, Miguel Andujar is right there ready to play third base too. And you can even add Andujar into the depth in the outfield. We saw this spring left field. Andujar played some left field. So we got talent everywhere. And it's hard to, I can't really worry about one guy or one position. We got talent everywhere. I think Gio is legit. His glove, he can pick it. He's made some ridiculous plays at third, and everybody in the league knew that defensively he was solid. His bat picked up. He figured out how to really hit with the Yankees, and that's, arguably the hardest place to get going. That's the hardest place to consistently compete. So I think Gio's got it, and if he doesn't have it, Andujar is not far behind him. And the Yankees are looking good, especially with this potential 30-man roster that's going to come along with whatever type of baseball we get this year. You put a 30-man roster instead of a 25 or what was going to be a 26-man roster for the Yankees, and we look like we've got the best depth in the whole league. Yeah,
that's true. And now let's switch gears to the Dallas Cowboys because you're a Cowboy fan too, like me, and we had a pretty good offseason, a lot of offseason moves in the draft. I think Jerry, this is one of the best drafts that Jerry Jones had in a while. Because I think he needs to draft in his yacht from now on because I think he hit on everything, and I was surprised that CeeDee Lamb fell to us and Travion Diggs. So first, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys offseason moves first, and then the draft?
Offseason moves were amazing. They restored my faith. I was one of those fans that was just really down about losing to the Eagles late and pissing away another season, and a season that people were saying we were Super Bowl favorites, and we started off 3-0, lost a bunch of games to teams that we shouldn't have lost to, like the Jets, like the Bears, close games we lost to the Vikings, and even the Eagles, we shouldn't have lost to the Eagles. So for me, seeing the offseason moves, first off with the coaching staff, Mike McCarthy, and then his coaching staff that he brought in, former NFL head coaches and guys with a lot of experience and respect in this league. I love that. And then seeing the Cowboys bring in some veterans like Greg Zuerlein, Clinton Dix, Gerald McCoy, Dante Repo. Like those are guys that have been Pro Bowlers in this league. And you bring that leadership and that veteran mentality and that much experience into our locker room with some of these young guys we have that are super talented. It's just a good mix, or it makes for what you think is going to be a good mix. So I love what we did in free agency, and then we carried that into the draft. Jerry's world, Jerry's yacht, man. Jerry's so old. I was watching him on there, and he, I watched the Cowboys did a after show, after the draft, where Jerry talked, and he said never in his wildest dreams did he think he'd be doing a digital draft on a yacht, and the best receiver in the draft would fall to the Cowboys at 17, and it did. And then from that point on, we hit everywhere else. It was like, for me, I was watching that, and once Henry Ruggs came off, I knew it was Ruggs, Judy, Lamb. I would have been cool with Jerry Jeudy too, but honestly, I liked Lamb more. So when I saw the Broncos took Judy, I'm like, there's a shot that we get Lamb, because the Falcons were ahead of us. They're not taking another receiver in the first round. And when it happened, I'm like, this is great. And that ricocheted into the second round. We were able to get the Stefon Diggs kid. Not Stefon Diggs, that's his brother. Exactly. And, even getting the D tackle out of Oklahoma, the center from Wisconsin, a corner out of Tulsa. We just added talent where we needed it. And this is already a stacked, talented team. So you add the coaching finally, right? We had Jason Garrett, who everybody knows, just a clapper, not really a motivator, not really even that respected by some of the guys. But then you get Mike McCarthy in here, who has won a championship. He's one of the only guys in that building that's going to say, hey, I got a ring. And he's going to be able to lead this team and help hopefully put it together. And I hope this offseason and the coronavirus and that stuff doesn't affect us too much. But I am definitely excited for Sundays this fall. I think the Cowboys are going to be competitive. I don't expect us to win 14 games, 13 games, but I expect us to be competitive and maybe even surprise some people, like 10 or 11 wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm a big Dallas Cowboy fan too, and I was excited when CD Lamb fell and then Trayvon Diggs and the rest of the draft. But I forgot to ask you, we also got Andy Dalton for the back.
Yeah.
I think whatever happened with Dak Prescott, I feel like Andy Dalton will fit perfectly because he went to school in TCU, back home now, and I feel like that I think he can. He's with better talent now, so I feel like if he ends up playing for us, obviously it'll be an injury to Dak, but I hope not. But what do you think Andy Dalton will bring to us?
I love the signing. I know some people read too far into it, and some people said like the Cowboys were out of line signing Andy Dalton and not paying Dak yet. But in this league, we've seen the last few years, if you don't have a backup, a solid backup, you don't have a chance because the championship team this year, right? Pat Mahomes went down this season, and Matt Moore had to step in and keep that team alive.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at the Eagles, right? No, you don't even have to go back to the Eagles. Look at the Saints this year. Drew Brees goes down, and Teddy Bridgewater carries his team. They get some wins under him. And then if you want to go back to the Super Bowl, when Carson Wentz goes down, Nick Foles steps in and leads that team to a Super Bowl. So I think everyone in the NFL for sure knows now you need to have two good quarterbacks. And having a quarterback with 9 years of NFL experience is only going to help. He doesn't have to be our starter. He's going to help Dak as far as that QB room. He's going to help Dak as far as watching film and maybe seeing some other things. He's going to help Dak as far as challenging him in practice. Competition brings out the best in the best. If you're, if Dak Prescott is who we think he is, he's going to raise his level of competition so that Andy Dalton isn't showing him up. And we're in a situation with Dak it's kind of unfortunate now. I've been making sure to shout out Dak because I'm a big Dak fan. I feel terrible about him losing his brother the night of the draft.
Yeah.
And, we all know his story about losing his mom, but this guy, I'm sure he's grieving and he's going through that, but then he's also going through contract negotiations and the quarantine. So it's a rough place for him.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think he does get paid, or I think he just takes the franchise tag. But that's the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys in the next few years into the future. And Andy Dalton isn't a threat to take his job. Andy Dalton only plays if he's hurt or he holds out. I think Andy Dalton is a great free agent signing. And we also took him away from the Patriots. From the Patriots could have scooped him.
Yeah, that's true. So before I let you some rapid fire questions for you and two take. So you ready?
Yep.
So Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
Kawhi Leonard. That's a GOAT laugh. I love Kawhi Leonard's laugh.
Yeah. Favorite food?
Favorite food? I don't know. I eat a lot of rice.
Favorite? Who's your favorite hip hop artist currently and old school?
Currently, I listen to a lot of Roddy Ricch. Old school. I guess old school is like it's got to be further back. Jay-Z, but Jay-Z I won't say is old school. You could throw Biggie in there.
Yeah. Favorite thing to do outside of the podcast?
Work out, but haven't been in the gym in 2 months. But I've been running hard, and I've been hitting push-ups. And this week, I'm definitely about to hit a lot of push-ups and sit-ups just to kind of like get ready for the summer. So, yeah, I would say working out, man. I'm a big gym guy. It's a big part of my life. And the biggest thing for this quarantine or this pandemic that I'm missing out on is just being able to live in the gym.
Yeah. Favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie? For baseball, I would say Hardball with the Cucumbas. With football, I'd say Varsity Blues. With basketball, I would say Blue Chips.
Do you think your Nets could win a championship next year with KD coming back and Kyrie and the rest of the offseason? What do you guys do?
Hell yeah, we go hard. It's our time. The Nets have been waiting for this for so long, and it's championship or bust. You know, we better win the East. I think the East is ours for the taking. So if KD
Mhm.
stays healthy all year with Kyrie, we got the role players. We're expecting a championship of some sort.
Okay, here's a question I had to bring up to you because I had Christian Winfield on my show, I think last month. So, Brooklyn Nets rioter. So I told him this: the next, I over under 80%. Greg Popovich is your next head coach for the Nets.
It's under 80%. Pop isn't gonna go anywhere, but hey, you never know. 80% is just too high. I think it's closer to like a 30% chance that Pop could coach the Nets. I would love that. That'd be my pick.
Yeah, because I feel like he can hold the veteran players. He can hold KD and Kyrie accountable what he did in San Antonio. So you need
Yeah.
that type of coach where you need a veteran. Obviously, you guys are going to get a veteran coach, whoever it is, like Tom Thibodeau or whatever. So they need someone to help hold them accountable. So I think that's a perfect fit. But the last few things here, this is a question I've been asking to all my guests that come on the show about the late Kobe Bryant and what he meant to them and what
Yeah.
what to you and what's his mom mentality. Yeah.
I love Kobe, man. I don't see how you watch the NBA or watch his career and don't. This year sucked as soon as we started. As soon as we lost Kobe, we started the year off losing Kobe, and it's still surreal. Sometimes I think about it, like I'm watching The Last Dance, and I'm like, it is wild to me that Kobe is not alive right now. And for me, Kobe is someone that as a kid, especially between my transition from being a Bulls Jordan fan to not really picking up on the Nets until later on, but like starting to root for the Nets in the early 2000s. My favorite player was Kobe, and it was everybody's. Everybody had the Mamba mentality, 2-4. He was iconic, man, from the shoes to the way he played and watching him win with Shaq and then winning without Shaq. I love Kobe, and I really feel just like down about the fact that we don't get to see what his second act was going to be. I really think he had more to give the world. And
Yeah.
I really think he was going to have an impact with his daughter and the women's game and being a coach and a mentor to some of these NBA players. And it just sucks that we don't get to see Kobe we don't get to see him grow old. We don't get to see Kobe as an older man. Wasn't meant to be. Rest in peace to the Mamba.
Yeah, even when his daughter wasn't involved, Gianna, that was the devastating also because she was coming into herself. She was 14 years old or 13, and she had the fadeaway shot already, like Kobe, and she was UConn destined. So that was the most
Yeah.
devastating
Rest
thing.
in
Also,
peace,
I'm not forgetting
Gigi.
about the other people. Yeah,
Yeah, and rest in peace to the rest of the people that also passed. Obviously, Kobe is what we all talk about, but it's unfortunate that they all lost their lives.
yeah. So before I get to the last thing, I forgot to ask, what are your what were your thoughts on this Last Dance documentary? And I tweeted earlier that I'm gonna write a blog and a piece about it so I can get. I learned a lot from it, so I'm gonna post about like what's my perspective on it, so everybody on it.
I was a child in that era when Jordan won in 97, 98. I was 9, 10 years old. So I watched it. I remember being in second grade, staying up to watch the Bulls beat the Sonics in the Seattle Sonics in the finals. I remember my mom saying it was late, and I begged her to stay up just so I like could see the game, and she let me. And I like that was huge for me as a kid, but I didn't know the back end. I didn't know the storylines. I didn't know the money. I didn't know the Jerry Krause stuff. I didn't know the relationships, and you can as a kid. So for me, watching The Last Dance, I was glued to it. These last 5 Sundays, I made sure I wasn't doing anything from 9 to 11 o'clock on Sunday night, and it was like it filled in some blank spaces for me. I knew Jordan was the GOAT. I knew the Bulls teams were great, but now as an adult, I feel like I got all the information about that time and what was going on. And that was a time where we didn't have social media. So maybe we didn't have all the windows inside to what was going on. Like Dennis Rodman is like one of the greatest human beings ever. Like this guy did whatever he wanted. He kept his private life and his personal or his professional life separate. Like he's gonna go do what he wants to do, but like when he shows up to play basketball, he's gonna play hard. But he's also gonna be with Carmen Electra and go to Vegas or whatever. And then, learn about Scottie Pippen's story and Steve Kerr's story and Phil Jackson's story. It gives you so much like compassion for these guys. I loved The Last Dance, and the last thing I'll say about it is I don't want to hear anymore Kobe versus LeBron versus MJ, right? When Kobe died, people said enough of the comparing the GOATs. They're all GOATs in different eras, in different ways, in different times. Stop comparing them. Let's just appreciate them. And as soon as this came back, people started doing the MJ versus LeBron thing. And if you watch this doc, there's no way you could say that Michael Jordan wasn't better than LeBron. He was. He's got more rings. He had a different mentality. He had a huge impact on culture, marketing, American, like it literally changed the way Americans and the world looked at athletes, and not just athletes, black athletes. So I love LeBron. He's a GOAT as well. But as far as the like greatest player to come through the NBA, that's Michael Jordan. And I think that doc did a good job of educating the youth and kind of closing that debate. I don't think there's anything LeBron can do in the next, 4 seasons that he plays to put him over Jordan. So, I think we got to stop with the debates and just appreciate Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, and say, yo, I was alive to see 3 of the best basketball players of all time play, and that's good enough.
Yeah, well said. The last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the frontline people?
Yeah, of course. So, this coronavirus has been interesting for everybody. It has taken lives. It has accelerated a lot of different things. It has slowed down a lot. Like, it's just changed everything. And got to send a shout out to all the frontline workers. And when I think about the people on the front lines, I really think about the fact that, like, that is their job. That is their daily job to go to. And I couldn't imagine my job being on the front lines of this war, on this pandemic. And I think a lot of people focus on the wrong things. I think a lot of people are jaded by this thing, but we're on our way out. And for the frontline workers, what I want them to know is this won't be forgotten. Shout out to you if you're a nurse, doctor, work in the hospital, and even if you're just an essential worker at the grocery store, doing these drive up COVID-19 tests. Like, you're appreciated. This world needed you, and you stepped up, and we're on our way out, and we wouldn't have gotten to this point that we're getting to now, where the country's reopening, without the work and sacrifice of all of those people. Yeah,
so well said. And there he is, the great Keith McPherson. You can find him on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere. He does great stuff with Jomboy Media. And I just want to say thank you for coming on the podcast today. And I'll be posting this on all social media formats. So,
hey, man, thanks for having me. Keep doing your thing. I'll be watching and supporting. And good luck with the rest of the interviews you got today and this week. And like I said, man, you'll be proud of what you did during this pandemic quarantine. This is American history, and you'll remember the work and sacrifice and efforts and things that you did in this time to kind of get to where you want to go with your dreams. So keep going, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Stay safe. You and your family stay safe.
All right, brother. Have a good one.